Welcome, everybody. It is the last day of school. This is Mr. Lawhead, my co-host, and my name is Mr. Clark. I'm one of the 8th grade American Cultures teachers, and Mr. Lawhead is a 7th grade teacher. 6th graders, you probably don't really know what's going on here, so Mr. Lawhead's going to tell you about that.
Welcome to our end of the year variety show. We're going to ask that everybody stays quiet during the presentations and during all of these wonderful skits that you're going to get a chance to see today. You shouldn't be recording with your phones, and please follow your teacher's directions if they told you back in the rooms. If you need to use the restroom, please make sure that you get the appropriate permission to do that. This end of the year variety show is a way for us to let loose and celebrate all the wonderful things that you have done throughout the year, and you get to see some of your fellow classmates and 7th graders and 8th graders performing some special skills and talents that they have. More importantly, you get to see the teachers perform some of the wonderful skills they have that you probably didn't know that they do.
Also, I'd just like to remind you that the whole function here is to be about fun. So just enjoy it. Just relax and sit back in your nice, comfortable, well, kind of your auditorium seat. Can't use the real auditorium because it is a big mess right now. But Miss Wilson will have it cleaned up by the time school starts in September or August or whenever we happen to start. For our first teacher skit, we'd like to do an activity called Zoom Around the Room. Now, you all know what Zoom is by now, right? Everybody's been in Zoom meetings. You've been invited to them. You've been confused, but maybe you've actually learned something. Well, here's what we want to do with Zoom Around the Room. The idea is there is a moderator who will be Mr. Barge, and there will be several teachers who are going to be zooming around the rooms at their house to find certain things, kind of scavenger hunt-like. So Mr. Barge will tell us what we're looking for. We'll go find it, and Mr. Barge will kind of explain the process. So enjoy the first round of Zoom Around the Room.
Welcome to Zoom Around the Room. In this game, your EHMIS teachers are going to race to find items in their house, kind of like I Spy, and we're going to see who can bring those items back the quickest. We're going to do a couple rounds of this, ending in a championship round a little bit later in the variety show. So let's meet our contestants for round number 1. First off, we have Mrs. Amsbacher. Mr.
My son Oliver.
What's up? Best hair on the screen right now.
Mrs. Porter. Mrs. Myers. Miss Figgis. Mr. Quinn. And Mrs. McClay. All right, so here's how this works. We're going to do 3 rounds, and each round, the first person to come back to their screen with their item is going to be awarded 3 points. The second person back to their screen with their item will be awarded 2 points, and the third person back to their screen with their item will be awarded 1 point. Everybody else will get no points for the round, but we will get the opportunity to see what everybody brought back, and they can share it out. Okay? Contestants, do you have any questions before we get started? All right, here we go. Your first task is to find something purple. Go. All right. We got everybody back there. That was a quick one. Mrs. Porter was back first. Mrs. Porter brought to us her cell phone case, it looks like.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So that's 3 points to Mrs. Porter. I believe Miss Amsbacher was back next, and she has?
This is a target for one of my son's shooting games.
Ah, very cool. And Mr. Trimpey?
These are some lilacs.
Did you grow those, Mr. Trimpey?
I did.
Didn't, all right. Miss Figgis, what did you bring back to show us?
I have Max's most annoying toy. It literally woke him up that I got it, but I'm just gonna, that is the noise that it makes. So he's very upset right now that I took it.
Mrs. Myers?
So.
Very appropriate. Mr. Quinn?
The lid to some cheese balls.
Ooh, excellent. Breakfast of champions. And Mrs. McClay?
binder that I put school stuff in.
All right, very good. All right, so right now, Miss Porter has 3 points, Mrs. Amsbacher and Oliver have 2 points, and Mr. Trimpey has 1 point. All right, everybody ready for round number 2? All right, here we go. This time, you are looking for something that is somehow related to your childhood.
Oh my gosh.
Bread.
I'm back.
Grab bread.
I can't wait to hear Trimpey's
Oh,
story
boy.
about bread.
All right, so
Great.
Mr. Quinn was back first this time. Mr. Quinn, what did you bring back to show us that's related to your childhood?
Baseball bat was my favorite sport to play when I was growing up.
All right, excellent. Next back was Mr. Trimpey.
I brought bread because when I was a child, my grandma used to always make us molasses bread every morning for breakfast, and that brought that memory back.
All right, very good. And Miss Amsbacher came back
Yeah,
third.
I got Toy Story figurines because Toy Story came out when I was a kid. The first one that I watched on repeat nonstop.
All right, excellent. Let's see, Miss Porter, you brought back.
It's a picture of me when I was a little girl with my baby doll.
Oh, very cool. Mrs. Myers.
In trouble. This is mine.
All right, Miss Fickus.
This is a teacher appreciation letter that I wrote in the 3rd grade. That's my signature.
Oh, it's very good for the 3rd grade. And Mrs. McClay.
I have a magazine. It has baby in it, and I was once baby. So
All right, very good.
I was last. So
All right, we currently have a 4-way tie for first place. So we have Miss Amsbacher, Mr. Trimpey, Mr. Quinn, and Miss Porter with 3 points each, and everybody else have not scored any points yet, but that's all right. We have 1 round left to see if we can get our top 3 scores. Is everybody ready for this one?
Yeah.
All right. Your task this time is to find something with the words or the logo for Southwestern on it.
Oh my gosh.
got it.
Ah.
Oh,
Jen.
oh, I'm 4. Darn.
Not a great round there for Mr. Trimpey. It seems like he's still searching. All right, well,
Where's the school spirit?
first back that time was Miss Fickus. Miss Fickus has, I believe she has a Southwestern shirt on as well. Very good.
I do. I had my striped shirt on, but I wasn't sure if that counted.
All right, second back there was Mrs. McClay.
I have a shirt as well.
All right, and then Miss Amsbacher.
Coaching jacket from when I coached field hockey.
All right, excellent, very good. Let's see, Mr. Trimpey, did you find anything yet?
No.
No, all right. Miss Porter.
I have a EHMIS sweater.
Excellent, yeah, Mrs. Myers.
Shirt.
All right, and Mr. Quinn.
Mustang 5K.
There we go, very cool. All right, so that was the end of round 3. We can declare that Miss Amsbacher is our first place finisher with 4 points for this round, so she will move on to the championship rounds. We have a 3-way tie for our final 2 positions. So both Mr. Trimpey, Mr. Quinn, and Miss Fickus currently have 3 points. And we can only take 2 of you to the final round. So we're going to do a sudden victory. Miss Porter has 3 points. Yes, Miss Porter, you do. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, so we have a 4-way tie here. Okay, so we can only take 2 of you to the final round. So we're going to do a sudden victory situation. The first 2 people back with this item will go on to the final round. Okay,
Does everyone have to do this?
No, just the
Yes,
four.
yeah.
Just the four. Unless, I mean, Mrs. Myers, if you guys would like to do it, Mrs. McClay, you can, but you don't have to. It's up to you. All right. So, Mr. Trimpey, Mr. Quinn, Miss Fickus, Miss Porter, the first two finishers, the first two people to bring back something that does not belong to you. Go. Ooh, that was close.
Shoot.
All right. I know Mr. Trimpey was back first, and you're holding a wooden spoon, Mr. Trimpey. Can you tell us the
this is
story with that?
This is my parents' wooden spoon.
Did they give it to you, or are you just borrowing it?
Actually, I don't have the best internet service at my house, so I had to go to their house today for this meeting.
Oh.
This is
Gotcha.
their, actually, yes, this is their wooden spoon.
Okay.
So were those your mom's lilacs?
They might have been.
All right, and then it was very close between Miss Porter and Mr. Quinn. Mr. Quinn has glasses. Who do they belong to there, Mr. Quinn?
Oh, they're my wife's glasses.
And Miss Porter, what did you bring back?
I'm standing in my apartment, which I rent, which I don't own.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let's leave it up to the audience. What does everybody else think here?
Mrs. Porter.
Mrs. Porter?
Yeah, that's
All right.
way more creative.
All right. Thanks for being a good sport there, Mr. Quinn. So we have
Thank you, Mr. Quinn.
our top three finishers. Miss Amsbacher, first place in Group A. Mr. Trimpey, second place in Group A. And Miss Porter, third place in Group A. They will take on our top three finishers from Group B, which will be just a little bit later in the show. And then somewhere near the end of the show, we'll have our final round, which is going to be a little bit different. We're going to play it musical chairs style, where we eliminate one person each round for the final. All right, so everybody stay tuned for further rounds of Zoom Around the Room. Thank you guys for playing, and have a great and wonderful rest of your day.
We'd like to introduce Anna Schaefer, an 8th grader. She is going to be performing Megan Trainor's Just a Friend to You.
And just so everybody knows, there won't be any music playing behind her. This is a style of music and singing called Acapulco music, I believe it is.
No, it's a cappella.
Oh.
Which, just be careful, it doesn't mean without music. It means without accompaniment.
You see, you're learning something. You're learning something every day, even on the last day of school, kiddos.
So here's Anna Schaefer.
Why you gotta hug me like that every time you see me? Why you always making me laugh? Swear you're catching feelings, and I loved you from the start. So it breaks my heart when you say I'm just a friend to you, 'cause friends don't do the things we do. Everybody knows you love me too. Trying to be careful with the words I use. Say it 'cause I'm dying to. I'm so much more than just a friend to you. When there's other people around, you never wanna kiss me. You tell me it's too late to hang out, and then you say you miss me. And I loved you from the start, so it breaks my heart when you say I'm just a friend to you, 'cause friends don't do the things we do. Everybody knows you love me too. Try to be careful with the words I use. Say it 'cause I'm dying to. I'm so much more than just a friend to you. You say I'm just a friend to you, but friends don't do the things we do. Everybody knows you love me too. Try to be careful with the words I use. Say it 'cause I'm dying to. I'm so much more than just a friend to you. A friend to you. A friend to you. A friend to you.
That was fantastic. Our next skit is a teacher skit, and I think you're going to enjoy this. They're doing a skit which we're going to call TikTok skit. Oh, I think that's a new form of social media. It's going to feature some of your favorites: Mr. Quinn, Mrs. Wanamaker, Mrs. Benchick, Mrs. Ringley, Mrs. Heller, Mrs. Bowman, Miss Myers, Mrs. Pritchard, Mrs. Mayer, Mrs. Myers, Mrs. Bowers, Miss Huffnagel, Mrs. Amsbacher, Miss Kaler, Mrs. McClay, and, well, look at that, you, Mr. Clark.
Yeah. So TikTok, gee, I never heard of it before, well, maybe a couple months ago. But this will be kind of fun. And I have to admit, I'm still trying to master that whipped cream challenge.
Well, everybody sit back and enjoy.
Next, we'd like to have a performance by one of our EHMIS students and her sister. Taryn Gobrecht is a sixth grader. She's going to be playing the ukulele. It looks kind of like a little tiny guitar, maybe kind of Hawaiian in nature or something. And she's going to be performing along with her sister Haley, singing Wonderful Life. And maybe some of you know that these girls are daughters of our very famous school counselor, Mrs. Gobrecht.
Take a look around and see the world we think we know. Then look closer. There's more light than meets the eye. Beauty to behold. So much bigger than we know. It's only just beginning to unfold. So let it all unfold. Far beyond all reasons in your mind. There's more mysterious than you can find. All these questions that we always have. All we are is curious. There's nothing wrong with that. So go around every corner. Search every part of the sky. The light that's full of wonder. It's a wonderful life.
Another wonderful performance, and now we move back to another teacher skit. This one, Zoom Around the Room number 2. This one will feature Mr. Grindle, Mrs. Bowers, Miss Huffnagel, Mr. Clark, Miss Kaler, and our wonderful host, Mr. Barge. Enjoy.
Welcome everybody to game 2 of Zoom Around the Room. Let's meet our contestants for game number 2. First off, we have Mr. Clark. We have Miss Kaler, Mr. Grindle, Miss Huffnagel, Mrs. Pritchett, and Mrs. Bowers. All right, so just a reminder how this works. We've got 3 rounds, 3 tasks. The first person back every round will earn 3 points. The second person back will earn 2 points. And the third person back will earn 1 point. The top 3 finishers at the end of these 3 rounds with the most points will move on to our final against our winners from the first game a little bit earlier. All right, contestants, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Your first task is to find something orange. Go. All right, we've got everybody back. That was a close one, and I'm doing my best here to make sure that we don't need any instant replay to figure out where we finished. But I saw Mr. Clark come back first. Mr. Clark, you brought back to us.
It's a clementine of a basket of fruit sitting on the counter next to me. And so there's a clementine in there.
Very good, very convenient. Mr. Grindle, I saw you come back second with?
This is some kind of sippy container with Paw Patrol character on it.
And Miss Huffnagel.
I also have an orange.
Also has an orange. All right, let's see what everybody else brought back there. Miss Kaler has?
This is a refrigerator magnet from my son's preschool that he made.
Cool. Mrs. Pritchett?
Good old Honey Nut Cheerios.
Breakfast of champions over there. And Mrs. Bowers?
I have a project my daughter made in art class in the 3rd grade.
I like it. Very cool.
Obviously a cat, but she says it's a fox, but it's obviously a cat.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So after round number 1, Mr. Clark has 3 points. Mr. Grindle has 2 points. Miss Huffnagel with 1 point. Everybody else not on the board yet, but plenty of time. So here we go with round number 2. Your task is to find something that doesn't belong to you. And it has to be different.
I don't know.
All right. Everybody's back. Close one again, but Mr. Grindle, I believe, was back first this time. Mr. Grindle, what did you find?
This is my first shaving kit. That's my son's first shaving kit. It's very nice here.
Nice clean shave. Excellent, excellent. Mr. Clark, I saw you come back second.
Hey, this is a pair of headphones that my son owns. One of my sons in particular doesn't care to put things away. So it's really easy to find things that are not mine.
Very convenient for you. And Mrs. Bowers, sneaking in there in 3rd place. Mrs. Bowers, what do you have for us this time?
So this is my son's jacket that he wears like all the time, even in the summer, because he loves it so much. And it's odiferous.
Odiferous.
Big words. Ms. Kaler, looks like you found some headphones there too.
Yeah, I have headphones too, Mr. Clark. Look at that. And they're not mine. These are my son's gaming headphones.
Excellent. And Mrs. Pritchett?
This is so weird, but my husband got this phone fan for Christmas, and he clearly hasn't used it yet. But the only thing I could find.
We're just coming to summer now. You only need it now.
Yeah.
And Miss Huffnagel?
I have, but it was in a basket back here. It's my parents.
What, are they knives?
Kind of like
All right.
I'm very no.
All right, scores after round number 2. Tied in first place with 5 points each, Mr. Clark and Mr. Grindle. And then Behind them, tied for third with 1 point each, Mrs. Bowers and Miss Huffnagel. And Mrs. Pritchett and Miss Kaler still not on the board yet, but everybody's still in this year. We've got 1 round left, round number 3. All right, is everybody ready? Your goal this time is to find something that is related to your childhood. Looks like we're stumping some people here.
I got mine. I'm holding it, but I can't take it off the wall.
Don't take it off the wall. We got you, Miss Bowers. All right. So first back this time was Miss Huffnagel. What do you have there for us, Miss Huffnagel?
I have a potato. My favorite meal as a kid and my favorite side was when my mom made homemade mashed potatoes.
All right, excellent. It was pretty close there between Mr. Grindle and Miss Kaler. We'll give it to Miss Kaler. What did you have there, Miss Kaler?
I have this little teeny tiny gold bracelet that has my name that my grandma gave me when I was a little girl.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have it.
Mr. Grindle.
This is my wife's great grandmother's piano that I started playing. Well, I didn't start playing this piano, but started playing piano in 2nd grade.
Excellent. Mr. Clark.
This is my afghan that my grandma Clark made for me. Now, it's tough for me to find something from my childhood because my childhood was a long time ago. So probably Grandma Clark made this for me 50 years ago, at least. And I've had it on my bed or in my house since I was a little kid.
That's awesome. Mrs. Pritchett.
I found my basketball sneaker, and since basketball is my favorite sport, kind of reminded me of my childhood.
All right, and Mrs. Bowers.
I just have like all of our family pictures on the wall, and some of them are when the kids were little, and some of them are when I was little and my husband was little. So
Excellent. All right, well, that was round number 3, and it looks like we do have a top 3 here. So in 3rd place, scoring 4 points, was Miss Huffnagel. In 2nd place, scoring 5 points, was Mr. Clark. And our top finisher in game number 2 here with 6 points was Mr. Grindle. So congratulations to Mr. Clark, Miss Huffnagel, and Mr. Grindle, who will go on to our final round. Mrs. Bowers, Miss Kaler, Mrs. Pritchett, thank you for playing. We enjoyed seeing what you could find around your rooms, and we will look forward to our final rounds coming up in just a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to our stage next your friend and 8th grader, Tony Mercado. You know, 2 years ago when we were having our variety show, Tony danced for us, and I just remember watching him and thinking, wow, this kid is really something special. In fact, I ran upstairs to Mr. Hush's classroom and said, Mr. Hush, you've got to watch for this kid when you see the 8th grade version of the show. And now Tony is an 8th grader, and we're really excited and a little sad to have him performing for the last time in our variety show. So please welcome Tony Mercado. He is going to tap dance to an a cappella version of his solo, JT.
Every year at the Variety Show, we like to take a minute and honor those staff who are retiring. This year, we only have one staff member retiring. It's my fire buddy, the person I walk outside next to every fire drill, Mr. Myers. Sit back and enjoy this short retirement video as we wave him away into the sunny, wonderful world of retirement.
Hey Jakey, hey Mark. Just want to say that I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss my lunch buddy. I'm going to miss those synapses firing and the wonderful jokes you tell. I don't know who I'm going to sit beside now. I'm going to miss my fire buddy. I don't know how I'm going to get outside during fire drills. I'm going to miss my debrief buddy who I talk to at the end of every period and every class, every school day. I'll keep you updated on how many days I have left until retirement. That countdown is on. And I'll make sure I visit the house to see if Donna's working you to death or not. Take care, pal. Enjoy retirement. And we'll see you on the flip side.
Hey, Mr. Myers. I just wanted to let you a quick little message to say congratulations on your retirement. You totally deserve all the spare time that you will have here soon. And after a very long career of working with kids and teaching math, congratulations. I hope that you find lots of fun things to do to occupy your time. I know that I will dearly miss you in the classroom every day. I will miss your fun jokes and your humor and even your senseless, useless knowledge that you like to prove me wrong on all the time. At any rate, congratulations and stay in touch. And I guess at this point, it is truly 9:43. Congrats.
I just wanted to give you a quick congratulations on your retirement and milestone of your life. I just wanted to say, hope you enjoy this time and spend some time with your family. Just know that every day is a Saturday from here on out.
Hi, Mr. Myers. Crockpot here. Wishing you the best in your retirement. We will miss you, and there will definitely be some big shoes to fill in your space as you obviously leave us. Your students and teachers will always miss you and always remember your whistling and your jokes and all of your funniness along the way. Have a great retirement.
Mr. Myers, just wanted to wish you congratulations on a wonderful career. Congratulations on retirement. I consider it an honor to have been able to work with you for 5 years in 7th grade math. I know I learned so much as an educator from you and hope that one day I can have as positive an impact on my students as you do for all the students you've had in your long and great career. Enjoy retirement. We're going to miss you around the school. We're going to miss your laughter. We're going to miss your enthusiasm. But we know we'll see you around at some point. Enjoy your retirement.
Hey, Mr. Myers. Just want to say congratulations on your retirement. I'm truly going to miss your whistling down the hall, the jokes that you tell, and I just learned that you're retiring as a math teacher. I can't believe in our 14 years together that you went from our athletic director to a math teacher. Imagine that. Really, that was just a mistake on my part because when I first started teaching, you were never teaching, and I quickly learned that that's just because you had a student teacher. And then I learned even after that you are an amazing math teacher, and we are truly going to miss you at EHMIS. Good luck in your retirement. You've earned it.
Congratulations, Mark. Your big day is finally here. It's time to retire. I only got to work with you 1 year as a school counselor, but I certainly laughed a lot whilst in your company. And I will miss hearing the ridiculously loud whistling through our entire building that you produced on almost a daily basis. So have a great retirement, and hopefully we'll see you sometime. Take care.
Hi, Mr. Myers. I wanted to wish you the best of luck in your retirement. You know, as I reflect on your career, you've had quite a legacy, 30 plus years working at the middle school level. We will certainly miss your leadership and passion that you brought to our school and our math department. On behalf of the thousands of students and early adolescents that you've worked with and had a positive influence on, we will certainly miss you and wish the best of luck to you and your family.
Hi, Mr. Myers. I just wanted to say I'm going to miss not being able to cheer for you during our last in-service day of this school year. And also I wanted to tell you I'm going to miss your laugh, and I'm going to miss the way you make everybody else laugh with the simplest comment. So congratulations on your retirement. You earned it. You deserve it. Enjoy it. Bye.
Hi, Mr. Myers. Thinking back, we really started working, I guess, together when I joined the math team. And I can remember a few summer days where Lori Billman, Ryan Quinn, and I were trained by the infamous math leader, such as yourself. And we really just aspired to be as strong of a math teacher, really, that you are. I will miss your leadership in our math meetings. I will miss you interrupting my lessons on a weekly basis, picking on my students, your jokes, and really just the way that you make people smile. That's what I'll miss the most about you. Really just want to give you a heartfelt congratulations on your retirement. Very happy for you, so well deserved. I hope you enjoy it all in good health. Okay, take care, Mark. Best wishes.
Hey, Mr. Myers, when I think of you, I think of laughter and I think of humor. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. Laugh as much as possible. Always laugh. It's the sweetest thing one can do for oneself and one's fellow human beings. And you certainly have done that for your colleagues and your students throughout your career. I remember that you said the one thing that you'll miss the most when you retire are the students. And that's what the heart of every true teacher should say. But as much as you're going to miss those kids in front of you in your classroom, we're going to miss you equally as much. We wish you the best, keep in touch, and take care of Jakey and those potatoes.
So we've bid Mr. Myers farewell. We wish you all the best, Mr. Myers. And I'm just kind of curious, are you going to start working at Byers Tires, Mr. Myers? Well, Mr. Myers will know what that is because, well, Byers Tires is close to his house. We'd like to move on to a little bit of news. You know, you've probably been watching the news some over the last 2 months because we all want to know what the next number of coronavirus cases is and when are we going to go from red to yellow and maybe to green and all that sort of thing. Well, so we've recorded a little bit of news for some of your teachers who are participating in the Snapchat newscast. Maybe some of the newscast.
I think it's Chat Snap. I think it's Chat Snap, isn't it?
Is it Face Chapped?
Well, it's new. It's new. I don't get it, but it should be neat.
That might be most of the news is that some of your teachers had to figure out what in the world to do with Snapchat because, well, we're kind of old and we don't really know that. But you'll see that some of us are great with the technology and some have a little bit to be desired. So please welcome Mr. Quinn, Mrs. Bowers, Mr. Trimpe, Miss Hofnagel, Mrs. Waybright, Mr. Lawhead, and Mr. Clark, Mrs. Pritchett, and Miss Wilson as they bring you the Snapchat news.
Well, good morning there, EHMS. My name is Miss Wilson, and this is the last day of school. And typically on the last day of school, we have this great thing called the variety show. But our variety show is different this year, just like everything else. I mean, seriously, first of all, we only had one snow day. One. That's it. Mr. Trimpey was so wrong this year. He should be fired for weather forecasting for forever. We started renovations on our building. Have you seen our building recently? There's a giant gaping hole. Like you can see Mrs. Bowman's room and Mrs. Heller's and Mrs. Badia's and Miss Meyer. Like you see them from the outside. You don't even have to go in the building. You just see them straight across the parking lot. And to make matters worse, remote teaching. Who knew that we would spend the next 2, 3, I don't know how many months behind our computers, your teachers teaching from home, learning all this technology? My goodness. And for me, I was so excited. You know, Dr. Smale promised me that I could have this year's variety show in the brand new redone auditorium. And I didn't get it. And I'm not too happy. But I guess I'll just have to wait until next year. So with that in mind, we had changed some things up for our variety show. And we thought, you know what? Let's ask your teachers. How did they think things went when we had to go to remote teaching? So we decided to check in with a couple of them, and we're going to see how they did. So my first question I have for them is, what was the hardest part about teaching remotely? And let's see what they came up with. I believe, Mr. Quinn is up first. So we're going to go out to Mr. Quinn. So, Mr. Quinn, what was the hardest part of remote teaching for you?
What do you mean the hardest part of teaching? We're supposed to be sending lessons to kids? What are you talking about? We are not teaching right now.
I find it really hard to concentrate now because I can see outside. I'm not used to being able to see outside while I'm teaching. So distracting.
I still cannot believe that we had one snow day this year. Ridiculous. There was nothing to hype about, nothing to talk about.
Well, trying to remember what day of the week it is. I don't even know what today is. The hardest part about remote teaching? I took a semester off, and here I am at home with my own kids. I have to teach 5th grade math, 5th grade social studies. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. I can't believe it.
The hardest part is not being able to write blue forms and hand out parent warning letters.
My mouse clicking finger is sore. Poor little old me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I definitely would say the hardest part of online learning has been the lack of social interaction. I am definitely struggling with quarantine, but good news, I was able to make some really good friends. I know, so I want to introduce you. This is Mr. Rowley. He hasn't been in the best mood though lately because everyone keeps taking his clothes. This is Mr. Crunchy. He's been singing a lot. His favorite song right now is Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And this is Mr. Chip. My husband keeps trying to eat him though. I will guard him with my life.
Wow. Oh, we're back. Okay. Well, clearly some of your teachers are still learning about technology. I'm not really sure what's going on with everyone's phones, but I have complete faith in Mr. Barge that he will work his technology magic and fix the issues that your teachers were clearly having. But I mean, I must say, can you believe that all your teachers had that many issues? I mean, I guess you guys should be lucky you learned anything at all during this time we all spent on our computers. Well, I would almost say that maybe some of your teachers here need some summer school training on how to use technology properly. So I think I gave Mr. Barge enough time. Let's try this again. Okay, so you know what? There has to be some positive in all of this mess and chaos that we dealt with these past couple months. So let's ask your teachers, what was their favorite part of remote teaching? There had to be some good, right? So again, let's start and check in with Mr. Quinn first.
Like, seriously, guys. Schools are closed. I haven't opened an email since March 13th. The governor, he said they were closed. What? March 13th! Is that a squirrel? Aw, look, a cardinal. Aw, so, wait, what was the question again? Next year, I bet you we're going to have like 20 snow days. It's going to be absolutely insane. Like every week, we're going to be off twice. It's going to be ridiculous, all right?
Wearing my pajamas all day, every day. I mean, who doesn't love that? What do you think about updating the dress code, Dr. Smale?
My favorite part of remote teaching? I didn't do it. Holla!
My favorite part is not having to see and listen to Mr. Trimpe talk about the weather every day. It's not gonna snow every day, bro.
I really like getting up at 7 in the morning instead of 5.
Hi EHMIS, I just wanted to let you know that my favorite part of online learning has definitely been being able to wear comfy pants literally every day.
All right, students, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I was just on the phone with Mr. Barge. He says the issues are on your teacher's ends, not ours. You would think after 2 months of remote teaching, they would be better at this. All right, I have one more question for them. Maybe they'll get it right and not do whatever they're doing with their faces. I mean, I do have to agree with them, though. Like, some positive parts about remote teaching. I agree with Miss Huffnagel. I'm all about PJs every day. And comfy pants. I'm with you, Mrs. Pritchett. And probably my favorite. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Mr. Lawhead. I loved not having to hear and listen and have Mr. Trimpe interrupt my class to talk about the weather that we didn't get anyway. Anyhow, okay, hopefully that gave Mr. Barge a little bit more time, double check with teachers and see if we can get this last question done correctly. So teachers, your last question is, what did you miss most from teaching at EHMIS? You had to have missed something. I know I did. So let's find out what their responses were. Mr. Quinn, let's start with you.
What do you mean, miss the most? Miss the most? I'm gonna miss my job next year. I haven't sent any lessons out to kids. I don't know what's gonna happen. Miss the most? You're out of your mind.
I think the thing I miss most is seeing all the students' smiling faces instead of their Google profile pictures.
Definitely not being able to talk about the weather with students, teachers, and principals too. It's just, I don't know what I was doing.
Well, I really miss yelling across the divider to Mrs. Maysheimer out in the trailers. And of course, I miss all of the students.
I miss teaching 8th graders science. I miss my homeroom. I miss my student council kids. I miss the fact that we didn't get to go to Hershey Park. I really just miss you.
I think the thing I'll miss the most from teaching at school is Mrs. Bauer's amazing jokes, the quiet hallways, and walking into the building with the hope and dream of seeing Mr. Trimpe with a hairstyle that isn't awful.
I really missed doing simulations and activities, but that's probably good for kids because nobody passed out watching a scalping, nobody got slashed with a ruler bayonet, and no one vomited after drinking buffalo blood.
Hi everybody. So what I miss most about EHMIS is of course seeing all these students every day. But more specifically, I do miss seeing you guys fight the urge to do TikTok dance moves during class instruction. So, you'll be sitting there doing your work, and then all of a sudden you'll feel the urge to maybe start out with a clap. Or you'll do the crisscross, the X move, maybe you'll do one of my favorites. I like to call this the happy clap. Or you might do the fist pump. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool. And then you might, of course, hit that rolling. Hit that rolling. You might lean back and snap. Lean back and snap. And of course, you gotta hit the wall. So, if I had to guess what student hand raising would look like when we return to school, I think it would go like this. So there you have it. I hope to see all of you soon back at school raising your hands.
You know, I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. I just want a nice variety show since we couldn't be in the auditorium. But no. So you know what? I give up. I give up. Mr. Barge has clearly started his summer vacation early. Couldn't wait till the end of the day, like the rest of us. I don't know what your teachers are doing. Hopefully they figure that out soon. I mean, you would think after 2 months technology that they would be better at this. Anyhow, well, that seems to be all the time that we have for our news report here on the last day of our school year for 2020. The staff here at EHMIS does want to wish you a great summer break. We hope that you're able to visit friends and family that you were unable to see during our time home. And we can't wait to see you all in the fall, hopefully at EHMIS. And to our 8th graders, we wish you nothing but luck as you go across the street to the high school. And we know you will do great things. Have a great summer, everyone.
Every year, our judges have a really hard time determining who's going to be in the variety show and who's not going to be in the variety show. And while we appreciate everybody who offered some submissions this year, here's a little mashup of students who didn't get a chance to have their submissions reach the final viewing. Jacob Scott, Colin Kuhn, Haley Franco, Kelsey Smith, and Grace Cottrell. Thank you very much for your submissions. Here is a short mashup of what they sent in.
Oh, shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you?
I mean, every middle schooler knows what a meme is. It's an image spread around the internet. And there was an awful event that happened. My mom laughed at one. She laughed at a cat meme. And it's just ruined me. I mean, she uses LOL in every sentence. She has crying laughing emojis. What's gonna come next? She's gonna be doing those little animations in the text things.
Okay, our final Zoom around the room. This one featuring Mrs. Amsbacher, Mr. Trippy, Miss Porter, Mr. Clark, Miss Huffnagel, and Mr. Grindle, with 2 judges this time, Miss Wilson and Mr. Barge.
Welcome everybody to the final round of Zoom Around the Room. We have our winners from Game 1 and Game 2 here. Let's remind ourselves who we have playing with us today. From Game 1, our winner was Mrs. Amsbacher and Oliver. Second place from Game 1 was Mr. Trimpy. And rounding out our top 3 in Game number 1 was Miss Porter. From Game 2, our first place finisher was Mr. Grindle. Second place in that game was Mr. Clark. And rounding out game number 2 was Miss Huffnagel. So here we go. Here's how this is going to work. Each round we are going to eliminate one person. So the last person back, each round will be eliminated. There's no keeping score. We're just going to battle it out till we get down to the final 2. So your goal is just not to be the last person back with your item. And again, we'll give you the opportunity to share about your item and tell us a little story about it. Is everybody ready to go?
Yes.
We have Miss Wilson here with us today to help make sure that we correctly identify the last person back each round. So she's going to help us out with scoring. So let's go ahead and get started. Your first task for the final round here is to bring back your quarantine mask. Mr. Trimpey had his on the whole time, I think. I think we might have lost Miss Huffnagel here.
I think so.
I think so. So unfortunately for Miss Huffnagel, oh, look, Oliver's even got a really cool mask there. So Miss Huffnagel is going to be eliminated after round number 1. We've got some very cool looking masks here. All right, here we go with round number 2. Your second task, don't be the last person back with the last book you have read.
Oh.
All right, so let's go around here and just tell us what you've read. Mr. Trimpey, what are you reading up there?
So, this is not a book, but this is the newspaper, the Lancaster Farmer. I hope
Okay.
it still counts. I think it should.
We'll have to debate about that one. Mrs. Amsbacher?
We have been reading Star Wars kids books pretty heavily in our household, so this was the last one we read.
Nice, very nice. Mr. Grindle?
This is Tunnels Are Round. Great science book.
Excellent. Mr. Clark?
Well, you know, I get to do battlefield tours at Gettysburg in the summer, so I've been reading Brigades of Gettysburg.
Excellent. And Miss Porter?
This is James Rhodes' Playlists, and this is all about classical music. And it's got links to all the really the interesting pieces that he talks about. It's a very good book.
Excellent. All right, now the question is, Miss Wilson, what do you think? Does Lancaster farming count?
Well, Mr. Bard, you did say what was the last thing you read. And let's be honest, the odds of Mr. Trimpey owning a real book. So I think we're going to have to give him that one.
All right, so I believe our last person back then was Mr. Grindle, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Grindle, thanks for playing. Any last words before we move on with the game here?
Good luck, everybody.
All right. Thanks for playing, Mr. Grindle. Have a great day. All right, we are down to our final 4 now. We've got Mr. Trimpey, Miss Amsbacher, Mr. Clark, and Miss Porter. Here is your next task. Don't be the last person back with your favorite quarantine snack.
Oh. Oh.
That was a close one. Let's go around the circle here and check it out first. Miss Porter was first back. What have you been snacking on, Miss Porter?
Well, this is yogurt, and I put in fresh pineapple, and I make a blueberry compote and put that all in with it, and it's almost as good as ice cream.
Excellent. Mr. Clark's not agreeing. Mr. Clark, what are you snacking on?
Well, a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things, but Cheez-Its are very popular at our house.
All right. Mrs. Amsbacher.
I gotta go with the classic goldfish. I mean, look, this is like the monster size one too. That's how committed we are.
The snack that smiles back. Excellent. Mr. Trimpey.
Just potato chips, bag a day. So
Bag a day potato chip diet. All right, now, Miss Wilson, this is a tough call here.
Oh, I swear, Mr. Clark, Mr. Trimpey, and Mrs. Ansbacher all came back at that same time.
I think they did as well. Should we let them all go on and eliminate 2 next rounds?
Oh.
Or should we make them rock, paper, scissors for it?
let's leave them all in, and then we'll eliminate 2.
All right. All right. So too close to call there. We're going to let everybody move on. All right. So we're headed to the next round here. This time, do not be the last person back with some type of tool that you've used during quarantine.
Oh, some type of tool.
Oh.
I think I'm last.
All right. So let's start with Mr. Trimpe.
Just a screwdriver. All right. Taking things apart, putting them together. So Amsbacker copied me. I see that. So
I was back first.
Ms. Amsbacker has a screwdriver as well.
Yes, we use this to put our 4-wheeler battery in almost every single day, multiple times a day, because we ride it so much outside.
Got to get charged, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
We have built some garden beds outside of our house. And so, of course, we use a tape measure for that. We also use it to measure the length of the tall tales Mr. Trimpe tells.
What? Do you have a tape measure long enough, Mr. Clark?
Well, yeah, this one only goes to 25 feet.
Oh, I think you'll need a few more.
And Miss Porter.
I've got a screwdriver too. My tub drain was backed up, so I had to use this to get the thing off so I could pour the Drano down in, but it works.
Excellent. All right, Miss Wilson, what do we have there?
Mr. Clark and Miss Porter were the last 2 there, unfortunately.
All right, Mr. Clark, Miss Porter, thank you for playing. Any last comments?
I would say everybody imagine in your head the theme from Rocky played, because maybe that's what the No Sweat Band would have played at the end of the variety show this year. So that's your playoff as you leave today.
All right, Miss Porter, Mr. Clark, thank you for playing. Have a great day. So we are down to our final 2 now. Mr. Trimpe, Mrs. Amsbacker, and Oliver, your final task.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Wait. All right, I'm ready.
Don't be the last one back with your EHMIS badge.
Oh.
Mr. Trimpe thought he had it there. Not sure where he had to run off to.
Circa like 13 years ago, my original badge.
Good job.
Held together with tape.
Yes.
Mr. Trimpe, any luck there?
No, none. Oh, it was in my book bag the whole time. No.
He even looked there first before he ran away.
Ah, no.
Well, Mr. Trimpe, we're very sorry, but Mrs. Amsbacker was the first one back.
I figured.
Congratulations, Mrs. Amsbacker and Oliver, for being our 2020 Zoom Around the Room champions.
Celebrate.
All right. Thanks for playing, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great summer.
Well, that's it. That's a wrap. That's our abbreviated and different show for the 1920 school year. We'd like to thank everybody involved. Typically, what we do here is we kick it over to the No Sweat Band. And as a member of the No Sweat Band, Mr. Clark will tell you a little bit about that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lawhead. The No Sweat Band is a group of teachers and occasionally a former student who likes to play big band, jazz band kind of music, maybe some of the stuff that you'd hear at a show or something. Then we get to enjoy some of the songs, maybe by some 70s or 80s music groups and things. Like to play nice and loud, and that's what the kids are going to leave the auditorium. And so sometimes once they're all gone, we just get to play as loud as we possibly can. It's a lot of fun. So thank you, though, to everybody who has been part of putting together this year's show, especially our co-host, Mr. Lawhead. I'd like to thank Ms. Wilson, Mr. Barge. I'd like to thank our administration from the district level and our building level who have always been very supportive of putting together this show. Especially like to thank the kids who performed. Oh yeah, and those teachers too. But especially thank you for the kids who were able to put some time and effort and talent into what they're doing today. Mr. Lawhead, what are your final comments?
Just look forward to being back in our finished auditorium next June when we finish the school year, so we can do this right. Everybody gets the feel of the good end of the year, and we can wave you off as you get onto the school buses and wave to you as you leave the school.
So 8th graders, we wish you all the best, either at the high school or at Tech, or some of you sadly moving on to other locations. You're going to live someplace else. 6th and 7th graders, we'll see you back here next year. Everybody have a really great summer.